CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Makovic.
And we begin with breaking news this afternoon from Washington, D.C. 2 National Guard soldiers were shot near the White House. This is a live picture where you can see a heavy police presence responding there. We don't know how badly they were injured. The Joint D.C. Task Force confirmed that they were responding to the area, but so far not a lot of information on the circumstances leading up to this shooting. We do know that President Trump was at his West Palm Beach golf course when the shooting happened. Again, we're going to stay on top of this and bring you more information as it comes in, but 2 National Guard soldiers shot near the White House this morning. Meantime, it is the last dash for a lot of people trying to get to their Thanksgiving plans. People crowding the roads and the airports in what is expected to be one of the busiest holiday travel periods on record. Thanks for joining us this Thanksgiving Eve. Almost 82 million people are expected to travel at least 50 miles from home this week. That is according to AAA. And if you're one of them, you might find some slowdowns on the roadways. This is a live look at our Bay Area bridges. A lot of traffic right now. Our trouble spot seems to be the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, but certainly looking smooth on the Bay Bridge and the San Mateo bridges right now. Today is considered one of the busiest windows to hit the roads. Your best bet, if you can, is to travel early Thanksgiving morning. Plenty of people also flying to their destinations. Taking a live look at SFO, the airport expecting to see about 6.3 million travelers in the holiday season through New Year's Day. That is up about 4% from the same time last year. Our Veronica Macias checked out how things are going.
Yeah, really the rush of people, though, early this morning. We remember the term revenge travel, and this is what's supposed to be considered the Super Bowl of holiday travel. It was busy on Monday, last night, and early this morning. But right now, not as much compared to what we see a couple of hours ago with people who were rushing to get to those early morning flights. So we have been tracking things for you on FlightAware, the website tracking all the traffic at airports, showing here at SFO. Not busy at all when it comes to interruptions because they've only had about 30 delays, 2 cancellations. And remember, we're coming off the heels of the government shutdown. People were really worried about having to travel for the holidays. Some people even booking double flights just in case there was a problem. So today we found a lot of people who were in good spirits, happy to be at the airport, happy to be reuniting with family. Take a listen.
I'm going to be going to see my whole family.
For today, it's about just the love for family, and I have a friend who's a relative who's gone home from the hospital, and it's just being grateful for everything we do have.
I'm going to go to Hawaii, and I'm just going to visit there for my grandpa's birthday.
And according to the Federal Aviation Administration, this is supposed to be the busiest holiday travel season within the past 15 years. And also the Secretary of Transportation reminding people that when they come to the airport, there's that new civility campaign telling people to ditch the pajamas, ditch the slippers. But early this morning, we caught quite a few number of people who were here dressing very comfy.
And I don't blame them one bit. Well, luckily, our Bay Area weather is making things smooth for travelers, but it is a spare the air day today. A live look from our camera on Black Mountain on the Santa Clara Valley. A little bit of haze out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I know it's busy at the airports. Luckily, no weather delays. And then on top of that, if you're hitting the roads, dry surfaces, which is so different compared to what we were dealing with just last week with that cold front and the week before with atmospheric rivers too. Now let's head all the way down south. I do want to start off with this big story this morning. Magnitude 4.0 earthquake earlier this morning, just around 6:16 in Gilroy. It's important to note that the USGS made a comment that they could see, or they're forecasting about a 30% chance that we could see a magnitude 3.0 or greater for any of the aftershocks. Well, only 4 minutes after this even happened, we saw magnitude 3.6. So it did prove those numbers, and we're going to continue to keep a close eye on our friends down in the South Bay throughout the afternoon hours today if there are any other aftershocks. Now we head all the way down to the South Bay. We're expecting 60s today, 50s all the way off into the East Bay, 60s stretched up into the North Bay with some 50s trickled in there too all the way over into Novato. The big story for us, of course, is that holiday travel, and I have your national airport delay map coming up in just a bit. For now, though, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Jessica. And as she just mentioned, the South Bay got a little shaken up this morning, a magnitude 4.0 at 6:16, about 5 miles east of Gilroy. That followed by at least 2 other aftershocks minutes later, one of them a magnitude 3.6. And one expert says they may have felt bigger than they actually are.
Smaller magnitude earthquakes, which are these tight little compressed earthquakes, tend to be pops that you actually can sometimes feel better than you could a larger magnitude earthquake. And so it's not uncommon to feel relatively strong shaking.
The earthquakes happened along the Calaveras Fault. Almost 2,400 people reported feeling them from Salinas all the way north to Marin County. New at noon, a man has been charged in connection with a deadly home invasion in San Francisco's Ingleside neighborhood. San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins announced that she is charging the suspect with murder. On Sunday, officers responded to a reported burglary at a home on Granada Avenue and found a person seriously hurt. That person later died. Police say they arrested 45-year-old Cassidy Wyatt Allen later that afternoon. After finding him near 19th Avenue and Sloat Boulevard, he's now charged with first-degree murder and residential burglary. He is due to be arraigned at 1:30 this afternoon. Congressman Eric Swalwell is hitting the campaign trail for the first time since announcing his gubernatorial run. The Democratic hopeful volunteered at the Eden Unified Church of Christ in Hayward this morning. He says he's going to focus on two things in his campaign: keeping Donald Trump out of the lives of Californians and making homes in the state more affordable.
On day one, I will declare a housing crisis in the state and demand every agency within 90 days make a decision on any outstanding housing applications so we can surge the supply of housing for Californians.
He also spoke about his lawsuit against a top housing official in the Trump administration. Earlier this month, Bill Pulte referred Swalwell to the Justice Department, accusing him of mortgage fraud. Swalwell argues that move was politically motivated and could hurt his campaign for governor. Shoppers are getting their last-minute items for Thanksgiving, and grocery stores across the Bay are seeing a massive uptick in shoppers. For example, Berkeley Bowl seeing about 2,000 to 3,000 more customers each day this week when compared to normal. Suji Nam went to one store and talked to shoppers about their holiday plans.
We have flour.
Kiana Wright is trying something new this Thanksgiving.
I'm excited to have one relative in the Bay Area, so I go to her house every Thanksgiving, and I always bring something. And this year I'm doing mac and cheese.
A new mac and cheese recipe, and she's finding all the ingredients at this busy Berkeley Bowl.
A lot of cheeses.
Wright says, ironically enough, while prepping for the holidays can get crazy, she appreciates how the holidays help her slow down and reflect.
I feel like you don't often get that amount of time to how's it been? What could I do better? What did I do well? So I like that a lot.
Wright is just one of thousands of Bay Area neighbors shopping local at this independent grocery store. Chi Dixon, the marketing and communications manager for Berkeley Bowl, says they serve anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 customers on a given day. But on the days leading up to Thanksgiving,
we'll see an increase of another 2,000 to 3,000 people per day.
Dixon adds that she appreciates her Bay Area neighbors shopping local.
We have such great relationships with our vendors and our producers, and we have our own chicken farm. So we're able to maintain our inventory and maintain the lower prices.
And this holiday, Wright is even more grateful.
I was laid off earlier this year. I was unemployed for a while. Get back into it and get a new job. So I think I'm very lucky, and I think a lot of people have a lot greater struggles than I do.
She plans to cherish her Thanksgiving with her aunt and appreciate the littlest of things, including her new mac and cheese recipe.
Well, every holiday season, CBS News Bay Area partners with local food banks as part of our annual Food for Bay Area Families drive. Yesterday, Veronica Macias was out with the Redwood Empire Food Bank, showing how they serve families in the North Bay. And we want to highlight their important work and hear from the CEO about how ordinary people can step up to help.
So people are asking this time of year, how can I help? How can I get involved? We ask that people volunteer their time. So we have shifts in the kitchen, we have distribution sites, we even have farm partnerships and at the warehouse. And so people can pack boxes, they can prepare meals and hand out groceries to people that are coming to us for help. Of course, we ask for people to give monetary donations, and for every $1 they give, we can buy $3 worth of food. No gift is too small, so some people give $2 a month and others give $1,000 a month. There really is no gift that we can't make a big impact with.
And if you would like to help out, scan the QR code on your screen to find out how you can donate or volunteer at our local food banks. You can also head to kpix.com/give. And you can join us for our holiday special, Stories of Hope, airing Christmas night at 7 p.m. Inspiring stories behind the effort to feed families here in the Bay Area and what it takes to fight food insecurity. Also, more on the impact your donation has to keep food on the table for our neighbors. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, we do have an update right now to our breaking news. A suspect now in custody in the shooting of those 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. We're going to have the very latest from the scene coming up. Also, a massive fire in a Hong Kong housing complex left dozens of people dead, even more trapped in the upper floors. We're going to have a look at that scene when we return. And much more peaceful scene here as we take a live look at the Bay Bridge. Before we head to break, we'll be right back. An update now on the breaking news we are covering this afternoon. 2 National Guard members shot near the White House. D.C. police say that one person is now in custody and the scene is secure. This happened a few blocks from the White House, and CBS News reporting that the person who opened fire has been injured themselves and was taken to the hospital. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that 2 Guard members were shot, but she did not say anything about their condition right now. She said DHS is working with local law enforcement to try to get more information. The White House says the president has been briefed. He's at his West Palm Beach golf course. We're going to continue to bring you the latest as more comes in. And in Hong Kong's Tai Po district, at least 36 people died in this massive fire. It ripped through a high-rise housing complex today, and officials warn that number is likely to rise as rescue work continues. The video showing an ominous scene there of multiple towers glowing with fire and flames shooting out of the window. 7 of the 8 buildings in the estate were engulfed in flames, and firefighters say they have not yet reached some of the people who were living on the upper floors. Talk of a peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia may be premature. The Trump administration has been working to secure a deal, but the original 28-point plan has been slimmed down to 22 points. Meanwhile, as Natalie Brand reports from the White House, the military aggression continues.
Firefighters rushed to evacuate families to safety after Ukraine says a new wave of Russian attacks targeted residential buildings and energy infrastructure. This, as a Kremlin spokesperson says, is premature to say whether the war in Ukraine is close to a resolution.
It's a long, complicated process and very sad because so many people have been killed.
President Trump said his team has made progress in talks with only a few remaining points of disagreement.
What kinds of concessions are the Russians going to have to make?
Well, they're making concessions. Their big concession is they stop fighting and they don't take any more land.
Russia's deputy foreign minister acknowledged negotiations, but said there can be no talk of concessions on its key objectives. President Trump is sending Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to Moscow possibly next week and says Army Secretary Dan Driscoll will be meeting with Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's counting on further cooperation with the U.S.
We are ready to move forward together with the United States of America with personal engagement of President Trump.
The fast-moving negotiations come as Special Envoy Witkoff faces new questions after Bloomberg News obtained what it says was an audio recording of Witkoff coaching a Putin aide on how to talk to President Trump.
Witkoff has proved to be quite pro-Russian. Witkoff has proved to consult with Russians all the time, and it looks like he's trying to push Russian interest through White House.
President Trump dismissed the pro-Russian claim, saying he hadn't heard the recording, but said it sounded like a standard negotiation.
All right, back to our first alert weather now, taking a live look outside. Gorgeous shot of the Golden Gate Bridge there in the background, but it is a little bit hazy, and meteorologist Jessica Birch has been tracking that.
Of course, and it's a spare the air alert day, so just keep that in mind too. I know many of us are trying to hit the roads and of course take to the skies too the day before Thanksgiving. And now as we take a quick look at what we can expect into the afternoon hours today, well, we do have some changes around the corner. It looks like these graphics actually froze. We're going to refresh this and hopefully it works. But long story short, as we head into the next 7 days, we're gearing up for some really beautiful and mild weather in the forecast for us. Dry skies, partly cloudy conditions at times, daytime highs mostly sitting in the upper 50s and lower 60s. 30s. It's a really mild setup for us as we head into the next couple days, which is great news for that holiday travel. Now, as we head into this weekend's forecast and we're hitting the roads to get back or to the Bay Area, there's not a lot of changes either. We're dealing with a nice little dry stretch right now. Last week, we were dealing with that cold front that brought in heavy showers. The week before, we were dealing with, of course, the atmospheric river that brought in even heavier storms. But now we're seeing this nice dry stretch, which lines up perfectly for Thanksgiving. By the way, this is still frozen. Otherwise, I'd be showing you some things right now behind me. But long story short, that's the forecast. We'll have more on that coming up in just a bit. For now, I'm going to send it back to you.
Right. The good news, no real drama in the forecast, just technical drama. We understand that. Coming up on the afternoon edition, a battle of the knife between San Francisco police and fire departments. We'll see who prevailed after the break. The 49ers are on the road this week for a Week 13 showdown against the Cleveland Browns. In your Red and Gold report, Matt Lively shows why this 49ers defense is fired up.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions in the first half Monday night, but Carolina only managed to turn those into 3 points because the 49ers defense feasted on the Panthers.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat.
Yeah, Jair Brown went back for seconds against Bryce Young to help the defense allow a season-low 9 points. Kyle Shanahan called it Brown's best game as a 49er, but he's still hungry for more.
My mama landed in town this morning. There's going to be some great meals cooked. I'm a big dessert guy. I'm going to try to eat a little amount of banana puddings. You know, I ain't going to go too crazy because we got a big game coming up this week.
Malik Mustafa won't be going home for the holidays, but he is looking forward to his next trip back to Charlotte because he's got bragging rights over his buddies after the defense dominated the Panthers in Monday's win.
Oh, yeah, my dog JP, man, he talked about Bryce Young go throw it all over us today. So, you know, I'm going to definitely hit him back, see if he tuned in.
For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
All right, still to come on the afternoon edition and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. Well, if you thought turkeys couldn't fly, guess again. Like dozens were suddenly dropping from Bay Area skies. All right, one last update to our breaking news. 2 National Guard members were shot near the White House. This happened within the past couple of hours, and now we're learning a little bit more about what led up to this. We know the suspect was also shot and taken to the hospital. They are expected to survive, but the 2 soldiers, National Guard members rather, are in critical condition. D.C. Metro Police say the scene is secure, and we're going to have much more on this coming up at 5. Meantime, a face-off today between the police and fire departments in San Francisco. Only one team could come away with the moniker of Master Carver. Firefighters and police officers gathering at the Salvation Army in the Tenderloin to carve turkeys that will be part of the full Thanksgiving meal given out tomorrow. Salvation Army San Francisco will serve over 4,000 homebound seniors across the city, as well as people living on the streets. They say this annual event is a way to spread joy.
The police and fire are always there for the worst moments quite often. They're seeing people in difficult times. This is an opportunity to serve people in a fun way.
Now, the carvers were judged on finesse, speed, and style, and in the end it came down to a tiebreaker, but the police department came out on top. Turkeys were flying today in San Carlos, toy turkeys. Dozens of them were tossed out of a helicopter at the Hiller Aviation Museum with kids watching on. Then they removed the barricades, and it was a mad dash for these kids to collect those toy turkeys.